Okay, the boring part's over, and now I have interesting people to talk to. This is Amber Stout with St. Joseph Hospital, but she is with St. Joseph Hospice.
Correct.
Welcome.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here.
You're a registered nurse as opposed to an unregistered nurse.
I am.
Okay.
Took a lot of time.
A lot of time and hard work.
Yes.
I think one of the first things we need to talk about with hospice is I think that means you're going to come and take care of me while I'm dying.
Correct.
But there's more to it than that.
There's so much more to it than that. A lot of people have this misnomer that it's only for cancer patients or it's only for someone who's days within passing away, which is incorrect. Hospice is for someone who has a life-limiting illness, and it can be somebody who has, it's 6 months or less is if the disease runs its normal course.
Okay.
And that's the kind of broad spectrum of it.
One of the big things I think hospice probably too is, how's it paid for? Medicare, Medicaid, insurance?
All of the above.
All of the above?
It's paid 100% by Medicare and Medicaid. We also are contracted with about 95% of just regular private insurance companies. Okay. So most insurance have the hospice benefit, and then we do have private paid individuals who can fill out a financial agreement. There's sliding scale, right. VA benefits. There's a lot of different ways that hospice can be paid for.
What does a hospice caregiver, what do they do?
The caregiver in the home, you have the person that has the illness, and then you have a caregiver designated to be the one that takes care of them all the time at home. That person, they can do anything. They're like home-trained nurses for their loved one, which is good because our nurses and all of our staff come in and we help educate the families about the process that the family or the patient's going through. And we also help educate them on what to expect, how to deal with certain things. We just teach them how to be a caregiver, we teach them to give the best care that they can to their loved one. We empower them. Okay.
Is hospice care 24/7? Or do you have hours of the day that you come in?
Right. Our visits are usually throughout the day, 8:30 to 4, and it's dependent on the person's need, on how much that we're in there. It can be, as little as once a week, or it can be, Monday through Friday. We just come in for short periods of time. We assess what's going on. We make sure that their symptoms are under control. We don't want them to have pain or nausea or anything like that. As well as the medical part, we also have a chaplain who addresses spiritual issues, can pray with them, can give them communion if they'd like. We have a social worker who can help with community resources. Some of the things could be maybe getting them hooked up with Meals on Wheels. Or if there's just some things in the community that they could access at home.
Well, it sounds to me like one of the things that you do not only just for the patient, but it sounds like that you're so helpful to the family.
Right.
Because when this situation arises, it is very stressful.
It is.
On the family. I can remember when my father was dying, and we didn't have hospice care. This was 1972, and we're in a little bitty town, and the stress on my mother was just phenomenal because she was the caregiver with no relief and really no support. And it sounds to me like one of the major goals of hospice is helping train the family.
Exactly. The patient and the family are the center of the care. They drive the care. They tell us what they want us to do. Some families don't need a lot of support because they have big families. Some need a lot of support because they don't have family members. Every case is different. It's all individualized. We just want them to know that death is a part of the natural process of life. And, St. Joe has a birthing center. St. Joe has a hospice. They encompass everything in between.
It is true, and it is. You know, death is part of life, and you know, I'm not in a hurry.
Right.
You know what I mean? But
Right.
you know, it's good to know that there's people there that can help you at the end. How did you get involved with hospice?
You know, I just kind of fell into it. And if you would have asked me when I was in nursing school if I was going to end up in hospice, I would have never in a million years thought that I would have. I just kind of came into it by chance and fell in love with it.
Okay.
And then I had a personal experience with my grandmother. And, you know, just all of the emotions and the benefit that you get. I feel blessed every day when I take care of a patient. And so being able to know that you're changing people's lives, you're helping them be able to do something wonderful and powerful for their loved one, for their last journey. It's very, very important, and it's very passionate. And, you know, it's just something that I wish more people would realize that they had the option to do.
It's available, and it's really available to everybody.
Right.
And it's not cost prohibitive.
Right.
By any stretch of the imagination. So yeah, you should really take advantage. St. Joseph Hospice was voted best hospice.
Yes. Best hospice in Howard County.
Okay.
And I believe that it goes back to St. Joe and the wonderful care that you do get at St. Joseph Hospital, you know, and we're just furthering that along into St. Joseph Hospice.
Well, they're always voted, St. Joe's been voted one of the best places to work in the state of Indiana for, you know, several years in a row. And I think that just goes, if you're the best place to work, you're going to get the best employees.
Right.
It just kind of goes hand in hand. How many people do you have involved in your hospice program?
How many?
Staff. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I would say we have about 4 nurses, 5 including myself. I kind of do the admission process. Medicare does put some guidelines on us that we have to follow.
Sure.
And then we have a medical director, we have a nurse practitioner, we have a director that's over our home care and our hospice. And then we have some home health aides, we have our chaplain, our social worker. I think there's about 10 or 12 of us maybe. That's
all involved. And then how many patients do you normally have on
a daily basis?
Yeah, I mean, that doesn't sound quite right, does it? Right. But I mean, it's how many families are you involved with?
Right now, we're at about 9.
Okay.
It's ever changing.
Yes.
It kind of goes up and down, but with more community awareness, we hope that we'll be able to help more families and more people.
Yeah, I would think, because I think in the past, where do I turn? Where can I get help? You know, I don't want to ask for any help. You know, but you should. It's you could use some help for this journey too, which is the end of life. But you know, we all go through the whole process, and that's really good. Other things that we should know about the St. Joseph Hospice that maybe we haven't talked about?
If you ever have any questions, even if you think maybe your family could qualify, it's not just for cancer. It can be for any kind of life-limiting illness. You can always call me and we can discuss things over the phone, whether we think that we can help you or not. And we can also come out to your home, speak with your family, just about what's going on and see if we can help in any way. And if we can't help you, we want to see if we can get you set up with the right services that can.
Oh, that's great. What's the phone number to call?
It's 456-5885.
456-5885. Or go to the phone book and look it up, St. Joseph Hospital, Hospice Care, Amber Stout. Just excellent to have you in. And I think you opened up that hospice is more than just being right there at the end. You're a support for the family as well as the patient. And I know from experience the family can really use some support.
Right. And we also follow them for 13 months after the patient passes away.
Oh my goodness.
We keep in contact with the family to make sure that if there is counseling services that are needed, that we can accommodate that as well.
That's excellent. Very good. Well, thank you for visiting with us and telling us about St. Joseph Hospice. We'll take a break. We'll come back with Troy Bowers from Bona Vista.